Today is a wonderful day. Mess up. Today is a wonderful day to roll in the court.
Good morning, guys. Just wanted to do that little snippet of it's not really TikTok, but I know that's what y'all do on TikTok. But anyway, today is a wonderful day. Today is Friday. Whoop, whoop. So we are going to continue reading Malala, starting at chapter 12. A threat against me. My father and I were meeting with a Pakistani journalist in early 2012 when tears in her eyes, she told my father she had something she wanted to show him. They looked at a computer screen with worried faces and then quickly shut it down. A short while later, my father's phone rang and he walked away. He came back inside looking very gray. "What is it?" I asked. "There's something you're not telling me." My father had always treated me as an equal, but I could see he was trying to decide whether to protect me from this thing or to share it with me. He sighed heavily, then showed me what he'd been looking at on the computer. He Googled my name, Malala Yousafzai. The Taliban said, should be killed. There it was in black and white, a death threat against me. I remembered how nervous I was in 2009 when school first reopened, and I walked to the school with my books hidden under my scarf. But I had changed since then. I was 3 years older now. I had traveled and given speeches and won awards. Here was a call for my death, and I was as calm as could be. It was as if I were reading about someone else. I took another look at the message on the screen. Then I closed the computer and never looked at those words again. The worst had happened. I had been targeted by the Taliban. Now I could get back to doing what I was meant to do. Are you all right, Johnny?" asked my dear father, who was near tears. "Abba," I said, trying to reassure him. "Everybody knows they will die someday. No one can stop death. It doesn't matter if it comes from a talib or from cancer." But my proud, fearless Pushtun father was shaken in a way I had never seen. And I knew why. It was one thing for him to be a target of the Taliban. He had always said, "Let them kill me. I will die for what I believe in." But he had never imagined the Taliban would talk about hurting a child, hurting me. My father suggested we stop our campaign. I saw the fear in his face, but I also knew he would honor my wishes no matter what I decided. But there was no decision to make. I felt a powerful force inside me, something bigger and stronger than me, and it had made me fearless. Now it was up to me to give my father a dose of the courage he had always given me. "Abba," I said, "you were the one who said, if we believe in something greater than our lives, then our voices will only multiply, even if we are dead. We can't stop now." He understood. Still, he said we should be careful about what we say and to whom we say it. This is, I think, a very powerful statement where she says, "You were the one who once told me we believe in something greater than our lives." It's something important that as we go through life, that we know that there is something greater than us, and that when we believe in something, then it's worth fighting for. And it's really interesting to me how at peace she is about it. She's not afraid. She just knows what she has to do and she's going to do it. Have you guys ever felt like that about anything in your lives? As we traveled home, I asked myself what I would do if Talib came to kill me. Well, I would just take my shoe and hit him. But then I reminded myself, you must treat others with cruelty. You must not treat others with cruelty. You must fight them with peace and dialogue. The statement reminds me of Martin Luther King and the way he lived his life as well. "Malala," I said to myself, "just tell him what is in your heart. that you want an education for yourself, for all girls, for his sister, for his daughter, for him. That's what I would do. Then I would say, now you can do what you want. She's trying to say that she would want whoever is trying to hurt her to be able to relate to her. When we relate to others, we can have a better understanding of why they do the things they do. By spring, a tiny miracle in the campaign for education had taken place right in my own home. My mother had started learning to read, while my father and I were busy speaking across Swat Valley. My mother had started working with one of the teachers at Kushaut Primary School. She was soon able to read Pakistan's national language, Urdu, and she had started learning English. Wow, so her mom didn't even know how to read yet. My mother loved schoolwork, even more than I did. If it was possible, in the evenings, she and I would often do our homework together, sipping tea, two generations of Pashtun women happily huddled over their books. My 15th birthday felt like a turning point for me. I was already considered an adult. That happens at age 14 in our society, but it was time for me to think about my future. I knew for certain now that I wanted to be a political leader, and I started to worry that the awards I was receiving were too much. I saw so many children still suffering. Why should I enjoy galas and ceremonies? A gala is like a really nice fancy dinner where very rich people come together to raise money. Here's a picture of her and her mom sitting, sipping tea and learning. I told my father I wanted to spend some of the money I'd received helping people who needed it. I had never forgotten the children I'd seen sorting trash at the dump all those years earlier. I wanted to help kids like them. So I organized a meeting with 21 girls at school, and we discussed how we could help every girl in SWAT get an education. We decided we would focus on street children and those in child labor. We had plans to keep talking, and then in the fall, we would decide what exactly we could do. This tells me she's very compassionate and caring about other people, and she's definitely a leader if she's organizing girls to come together, right? And I can tell that she might be very well liked if people want to come together and help her. In early August, my father received some frightening news that Zahid Khan, a close friend of his who also spoke out against the Taliban, had been attacked. We had been told that the Taliban had fled, but there was still violence in the valley. The people most in danger were the ones who were calling for peace. By some miracle, Zahid Khan survived. After that, though, I noticed a change in my father. Before we stepped inside the school, he looked up and down the street 4 or 5 times to be sure he wasn't being followed. At night, he would come to my room pretending he was there to say goodnight, but he was actually checking to make sure all my windows were locked. If the Taliban had wanted to kill me, I told him, they should have done it in 2009. That was their time. He would shake his head at me and say, "No, you should be safe." I did worry sometimes that a person could climb over the boundary wall and get into our house. Sometimes after the rest of the family was asleep, I would tiptoe outside and check the lock on the front gate. Chapter 13, A Day Like No Other. The second Tuesday in October 2012 started out the same as any other. I'd slept in as usual. I stayed up extra late after talking to Moniba, studying for my year-end exam in Pakistani studies. As I raced out the door that day, I told myself not to worry too much about the exam. I just needed to work hard and thank God for all I had. So I whispered a prayer of thanks. "Oh, and God," I added, "please give me first place since I have worked so hard." Our teachers always reminded us, God won't give you marks if you don't work hard. That's true. You need to work hard. God showers us with his blessings, but he is honest as well. That is why I always worked hard too. So it's not like she's praying, God, just help me win first place just because, but help me win first place because I worked hard. After the exam, I chatted with Moniba and looked around for my brother, Atal, who was supposed to ride home with me that day. But as the rest of the girls gathered around to watch our driver do a magic trick, I forgot all about my mother's instructions about Atal. We took our usual places in the dina. Moniba was next to me, and the rest of my friends were across from us on the other bench. A little girl named Tina grabbed the seat next to me, the spot where my friend Shazia usually sat, forcing Shazia to sit on the bench in the middle, where we often put our backpacks. Shazia looked so unhappy. I asked Tina to move. Just as the van was about to pull away, Atal came running. The doors were shut, but he jumped on the tailboard on the back. This was a dangerous new trick of his, hanging off the tailboard. "Sit inside," Atal said the driver. But Atal didn't budge. "Sit inside with the girls, Atal Khan Shusafai, or I won't take you," the driver said with more force this time. "I would rather walk than ride home with you," yelled Atal. He jumped down and stormed off in a huff. That little boy has character, huh? It was hot and sticky inside the dina as we bounced along Mingora's crowded rush hour streets, and one of the girls started a song to pass the time. The air was thick with familiar smell of diesel, bread, and kebab, mixed with the stench from the nearby stream, where everyone dumped trash. We turned off the main road at the army checkpoint, as always, and passed the poster that read, "Wanted Terrorist." We passed the Little Giant Sneak Factory, and then the road became oddly quiet. The bus slowed to a halt. I don't remember a young man stopping us and asking the driver if this was the Kushal school bus. I don't remember the other man jumping onto the tailboard and leaning into the back where we were all sitting. I never heard him ask, "Who is Malala?" And I didn't hear the crack, crack, crack of 3 bullets. The last thing I remember is thinking about my exam. After that, everything went blank. Something really ugly happened really quickly, so quickly she doesn't remember it. Part 4, A New Life, Far From Home. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and we'll read the rest tomorrow. Bye, guys. I hope you enjoy your day today. Talk to you later. Bye.